YouTube, what's up? Hey, guys and girls, how you guys doing today? Figured I'd post up, let everybody know how I'm doing. I got 35 days today, clean from no funk. Sorry, looking for my batteries. To pause this. Yeah, I just need time to pause that real quick. Now, I'm gonna go into a little life story about myself. I'm kind of a little bored today, and I just want to go into a little about myself and about my story and how I ended up being a chemical research kid. That's what I call myself, chemical research kid. KRK or CRK, basically. I'm gonna break down my life story, and you tell me if this was fair, or if the system's fucked up and it's just a revolving door for us to go back through. Now, I was born March 9th, 1989, in Ilion, New York. Now, I grew up in Ilion, New York my whole life. My grandmother worked at the hospital down the street. My grandmother worked at the hospital down the road from my house, so sometimes during lunch, she'd tell me to come down and have lunch with her. I would eat a hot dog and have a milkshake. Best thing I've ever ate in my life. Now, my whole life, I was always labeled as like, oh, you're just like your father. You're just like your father. You're gonna be just like your father. You're gonna be just like your father. Now, that was from my mother telling me this. I don't know if my mother had something against my father because she cheated on or whatever. Probably, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that. My father's... No, I am saying my father is the greatest father. I'm saying my mother's a good mother. Now, you know what I mean? My grandmother is my mother, really. My grandmother is my mother. She has saved my life. Now, I'm going to get into this in a little bit of detail and explain to you what had happened to me. So, I was always told, you know what I mean? Yo, you're always going to do this. Now, growing up, I'm watching I'm 6 years old, and I'm watching my uncle, 6, 7, 8 years old, my uncle hiding in the bathroom, smoking crack, throwing the stem in the toilet. Now, that's what me and my family members grew up to. So we've always been subject to the lifestyle. I call it the lifestyle. We've always been subject to the lifestyle. So, by saying this, now, 9, 10, 11 years old, growing up, we got a headache, we were stressed out. Oh, here, take this, put this under your tongue. Valium, Xanax, Clozapine. Here, take this under your tongue, da-da-da. Now, we didn't even know at that age we were turning into drug addicts. At that age, like, that we thought it was all right. So that went on for a while. Skip forward a few years. Get to 12 years old. September 2001. Never forget it. September 11th, 2001, the day the tower struck, was one of the days I had skipped school. Now, I would skip school, and I would go down to the towpath and smoke cigarettes. Now, I never smoked weed at this time. I just smoked cigarettes. So now, I just skipped school. I was getting bad grades, da-da-da. So they had called me into court, and they said, if you get your grades up and you get your stuff better, we won't have to send you away. So that's what I did. I'd gotten my grades up. I'd straightened out, da-da-da. I went back to court. The guy that had shown up to court did not have my new records of my new grades. He had my old records. So the judge sentenced me, they said, to a 30-day evaluation at Elmcrest Children's Center. Now, mind you, parents out there, now, when they say this is a 30-day evaluation, bullshit. It's a 60 to 90-day evaluation. And most likely your kid is going to get recommended for long-term treatment. The only way your kid is not going to get recommended for long-term treatment is if you show up there every visit, you call every day, you ask how he's doing, da-da-da. If they know that there's somebody out there that cares about this kid and wants this kid home, da-da-da-da, they're going to make a recommendation for you to go home. But if nobody shows up for you and nobody does the work and nobody calls it, they look at it they look at it as, well, the parents don't care about them in here. Why are they going to care about them out there? So, like I said, every visit, every chance I got, my grandmother, my mother showed up, my father showed up, whatever, to this Elmcrest Children's Center. Now, I have a tick in my leg, like this. See this tick? I'm always doing this. I'm always shaking my leg. Now, that runs in my family. So, mind you, I'm doing this in school all the time. I'm 13 years old. So, the counselor calls my mother up and says, listen, we got to keep him another 15 days to see why he's, to monitor why he's getting a tick in his leg. Now, for one, that shouldn't have been a big deal. My mother told me ran in the family, whatever, case may be. So, like I said, they came and see me every day. So, there were 16 kids in this house I was in. I was the only one that was receiving visits, clothes, whatever, I didn't need nothing from the state. Everybody that needed something from the state, out of 16 kids, I was the only kid in the whole house that got recommended to go home. Everybody else got long-term treatment. 16, 18 months, 12 months, And that is the family court system. That's how it's so fucked up. Because they could recommend you for a year, and then after a year, they can recommend you another year until you're 18 years old. And you're stuck in the system. So, I finally got let out, and now I'm out for a year. Now the cops are fucking with me. Now the cops are screwing me in my town, man. They're just every time they see. I got a bad last name, which I should have went into. I have a bad last name in my town. My last name's Doolin. I have a bad last name, and every time something happens, associate a crime or something, they would always stop me, or stop my little brother, which is on the high honor roll. I'm the black sheep of the family. One of my brothers is an RN. The other brother is actually works for some computer tech company. My sister's going to Albany Med School to be a pharmaceutical something, and my other sister's on the high honor roll in high school. So mind you, I'm the black sheep of the family. So after being in Elmcrest for this amount of time, I was recommended to go home. So after I went home, I'm home for about a year. Now, after they released you from this place, they put you on PINS, which is person in need of supervision. Now, I did perfect on PINS. I had no problems. Now, I go to PINS after a year one day. There's two officers sitting in there, and they say to me, they say to my PINS officer, we can guarantee that he was at this house. All his friends were there. We can guarantee he was. So even though nobody's seen me there, they can guarantee I was there due to every kid I was hanging out with was there that night. Now, mind you, I was sitting home on AOL Chat Messenger at the time because I didn't want to go out that night. I had a cold. So, what do you think happens? 2 days later, I go in front of the judge. My probation officer goes, I was guaranteed by two officers he was involved in a burglary. We want to put him back in place so no other further crimes happen in the community, without any further proof or nothing. So they put me back in the kids, they put me in Tully Hill. Now, mind you, I'm there for 4 months, no court. All of a sudden, 4 months later, boom, the guy shows up, brings me to court. They apologize to me. The cop never apologized to me. The judge apologized to me. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Dillon. The finding facts are that you were never there. Now, where is you see what I'm saying? Like, where is the justification of that? So mind you, now I'm out a year. Now all this shit's been happening. So now I'm terrified of the police. So now I'm out a year, and they're calling me down for every little thing. So, you know what I mean? I'm 16 years old, you know what I mean? I sell a dime bag of pot to my friend, They're trying to charge me with criminal sale of marijuana in the second degree, 4D felonies, which they did. It said I sold 16 pounds of pot, 4D felonies, whatever. So I got nervous. Before this had happened, I got nervous and said, listen, I need to get out of town before they end up getting me really in trouble. So me and my girlfriend, my buddy and his girlfriend, he was on house arrest. He ended up cutting off his ankle bracelet. We stole my girlfriend's stepfather's truck. We had the keys. And then we stole a couple swords and some money or whatever from his house. Now, that's her house that she lives in, my ex-girlfriend, so he couldn't burglarize her own house. So we go from there to up to my friend's camp. Now, when we get up to my friend's camp, it's his grandmother's camp. Now, we get up there. It's a camper. There's nothing there. No food in the place, none. So I go buy food. I go buy a whole bunch of shit. And I bring it to this place. That's where we plan to stay for a couple days. So after 2 days, so after a couple hours, I get a real bad feeling. And I was like, listen, bro, you got to take me back home. I just got a weird feeling about this whole situation. Just bring me back home. I'll figure this out. Now, I felt bad because my buddy had already cut his ankle bracelet off. He couldn't go home. So now, he drives me home. Now, on the way home, I'm seeing the state troopers fly by us. And I'm thinking to myself, there's a lot of fucking troopers going by. So we get down into town, and we go to hit a roadblock. We get down and go to hit a roadblock. And all of a sudden, I go, take this right-hand turn right here. So he takes his right-hand turn right there and goes up the fucking hill. Now, as he goes up the hill, he lets me out of the car, and he's like, yo, you got out of the car, that cop's looking for you heavy. So I get out of the car. Now, after I get out of the car, I go down, I turn myself in, whatever, case baby. So now, they bring me to the police station, and they say that Oneida County is charging me with burglary for entering the mobile home, not to commit a crime. I brought food there. There was nothing there to steal, Lo and behold, they charged me burglary. They brought me to Oneida County jail. Now, I've never been in jail before. It's my first night in jail. So they bring me into jail, and they say to me, they give me this, they give me this smock. Now I know what it is. It's called a turtle suit. They give me this turtle suit. They bring me in the cell. And mind you, I've never been to jail. So now this is horrific. They got me in a turtle suit. They got me down there naked. They got a guard standing in front of me. And they say to the guard, so I would go after the night, and I was like, yo, buddy, I can't get no clothes. I'm freezing. He goes, they're in the wash. So I didn't know he was fucking me at the time. I really thought they were in the wash. So the next day I go down to see mental health. Mental health clears me. They say, you're going to administrative segregation, So I don't know what that is. I'm thinking that's jail. I've never been to jail. So they bring me up pod 4. They stick me in the cell. So now, every day they pop this out. I come out for an hour a day for rec, and I was by myself. So people were coming in the boxes downstairs, and they were like, yo, you're on administrative segregation, man. You're on administrative segregation. I said, what? This ain't jail? This is the way jail's supposed to be? He said, nah, man, jail's not like this. You can walk around and da-da-da-da. So I was like, oh, shit. So I finally, my lawyer calls me after 4 months. I'm being locked in the cell. From 16 years old to go being locked in the cell. Calls me up. He says, we're going to give you the 4 months in jail and 5 years probation. Will you take it today? I said, yeah, I'll take it today. Send me home. So they sent me home. Now, I started smoking weed on probation. Like a retard. I smoke weed to calm my nerves down, whatever, da-da-da. So, now, I started smoking weed. Now, I fail a drug test. Now, they send me to New York State prison at 17 years old for failing a marijuana piss test. 17 years old. 06A2715. That was my DIN number. 17 years old. I was so young that when I got hurt in prison, they had to call my family to do surgery because they couldn't okay it from the guards. That's how young I was. I could not even get cigarettes in prison because I was so young. And I was in prison. There's guys in prison that were in prison for raping kids my age. You know what I mean? Like, it was a bad situation. So, I go to prison, da-da-da. Now, I'm thinking it's going to be bad, da-da-da. Now, prison wasn't that bad at all. I worked for grievance. I had my own desk. I had my own coffee pot. I ran around, da-da-da. I did my thing. Yeah, well, is there here nor there, da-da-da. Here nor there. So, anyways, I go from there to the parole board. Now, the parole board lets me out, releases me. I come home. Now, I got a year left on parole. Now, I get released in 2009, March 6, 2009. March 9, 2009, and I'm in Daytona Beach, Florida, playing beer pong in the lobby of the hotel room, smoking blunts with beautiful girls out on the strip, which I probably shouldn't have been. Now, I go from being locked in the cell to this. So now this blows my mind. And honestly, I think this is what saved my life. Because when they brought me from the prison cell into that, down there in Florida with these hot women and everything, I realized that's not what life was about when I was 16. When I was 16, I could have did 20 years in prison. But now I can't. Because of, I don't know, I just can't. So, I get out of prison, I go back home. I get home. I'm out of prison a year. So as I get out of prison, I get stress and anxiety that I'm having back problems. So I get prescribed Xanax and hydrocodone. And it just escalated from there. It escalated from there. But I'm just sharing my life story about how addiction has ravaged my family ever since I was a young kid. From 7 years old, my other grandmother popping a Valium in my mouth, telling me to calm down. You got a headache, here, take this. To a doctor writing me 90 Suboxone a month, and 90 Adderall, and 90 Xanibars. That's just insane. So I wanted it to be known, period. And I just wanted it to be known that there is help out there. And today I have 35 days clean, man. 35 days clean. So there is hope out there. So if anybody would like to hear more of my story or get into more detail about it, let me know. Hit me up. I'll be more than happy to share it. I'm trying to help my brothers and sisters in addiction here, man. Thank you very much. Have a good day, guys.